police barracks.
Yes.
They have totally blocked that route that goes through
the police is
my constituency. It is sometimes, although not to a greater extent, but it sometimes is. And what happens is that people who are going
sometimes
to
they are on the side of the opposition,
who are supposed to pass through that route are checked, and some of the junior cadres of the police, some of whom Hon Wasswa might not be able to know, continue to extort money from these civilians going to work, coming from work, using that shortcut.
In Sanga, there's that shortcut that people use across the railway.
So
they put a road toll.
It must be known that if there is a problem, it's to everyone. If there is a rally that's going to be organized by a group of politicians at Insambia grounds near Sharing Hall, it should be to all. But if you say today that there is a terror threat, and tomorrow we are seeing NRM cadres being passed out in the same grounds or within the same perimeters, then we'll have worries.
Maybe the terror threat has gone.
Another matter that I would like to look at is that to a society like Uganda, we would be safer standing with one single definition of terrorism and terrorists.
Right.
But this idea of academic qualifications, because they qualify somehow in an academic form.
What do you mean?
What I mean is that they will come and tell you that there are many brands. There is Al-Shabaab, and then there is Al-Qaeda in Arabia, there is Al-Qaeda in Maghreb, there is Al-Qaeda in Africa. Then there are those whom they refer to as Islamicists.
How do you want us to talk?
And then they'll talk to you about the Talibans, the Mujahideen, the Jihadists. You know, these are too many names attempting to mean the same thing.
You prefer one name.
But exaggerating it to such an extent that when they mention one of them, you will say it is a new thing. This is the same thing. Let's say they are terrorists.
Oh.
Yes. Let's leave this one for the sophisticated American society, the British, because for them they can classify these things.
But also not sophisticated enough.
No.
We've not eaten enough corn.
No, because what's the difference between Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda? What's the difference between Taliban and Mujahideen in the Ugandan sense?
Okay, we have to hear from the listeners. This is Spectrum on Radio, and tonight, remembering the July 11, 2010 bomb attacks in Kampala. What lessons have we learned to help us avert a similar catastrophe? Our numbers 0414-348-111, 0312-260-390, 0791-909-909. Spectrum, hello? 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 Yes? Your name? Yes, your name?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Your name?
My name is Charles.
Charles, please.
I thank you very much, Madam Secretary of the studio. Terrorism, fighting terrorism like any other offense should be a political responsibility. I get a little bit offended when I hear people pushing blame to Uganda police. Fighting crime should be a collective responsibility. In fact, constitutionally, I think it should be in Chapter 3, duties of the citizens. And among other duties is to cooperate with other lawful agencies to fight crime. Now, today in the morning, I was listening to one of the callers on one of the radio programs, and this person seems to have been having some knowledge about incident management. And according to him, he was like saying he just survived because he was there, but because he had some techniques. But you can imagine, 1 year down the road, this gentleman has not actually shared this information with the rest of other Ugandans. Yet we have radios like Radio 1 and any other radio, where you could have gone to such kind of platforms, explained to Ugandans, and we all understand.
Yes, Charles, thank you. Spectrum, hello?
Hello?
Yes, your name?
Yeah, my name is Paul, and I'm still concerned that the rate at which we haven't got taking the lessons learned, we have not got enough sensitization as is required. I'll give you an example. When you go to a place, they'll do a body check, a security firm will do a body check. The person will check you and find the coin, he still squeezes the coin, and you ask yourself, does this person know exactly what he's looking for, or is he just touching? The second point I would want to make is that I expected that at some point they would give us a better description of, for example, what a bomb would look what are the things to look out for. For now, people's mind, what is in people's mind about bombs is what they see on TV, on some of these videos like 24, then they know that they look like candles or something like that. But we haven't got a full sensitization to know what to look out for and what a bomb would look out for would look like. The last point I want to make is that the post-event preparations are also extremely poor. There is very credible evidence that there is anything now. But what happens if it happens has no preparation at all. We do not know whether we have sufficient ambulance services. We haven't prepared any location to say that we can have maybe mass first aid centers in this location or that kind of thing. There's very little preparation around that thing.
Spectrum, hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, your name?
Good evening, Spectrum.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I'm Bernard. Yeah, I wanted to know from Kampala Wasswa if really they have access to many of the terrorist organizations, especially studying their activities and getting to know what it is they are really carrying out. If it is so, I hope he would have informed us of actually the seriously approaching threats we are facing from these terrorists, rather than really the way he's trying to explain where we don't understand. Because, you know, there's a point he made where he said the awareness was not there, but not until the other bombing happened. And indeed it is true, like when he to give us those areas where we are facing those terrorist threats, I think would have helped a lot.
Hello.
Yes, your name?
Hello, how are you, sir?
Very well, thanks. Your name, sir?
My name is Paul Mugambe. I'm calling from Zina.
Yes.
Now, first of all, it is very bad that this is the day when that tragedy happened. But I would like to say that I remember vividly the events how they are unfolded that time. First of all, there were a lot of threats. It's from Al-Shabaab, from the likes of Zubair, they are ways, those guys in Somalia. But the police must accept somehow, somewhere, that this tragedy could have been prevented. I remember there were no, the public was not clearly told by the police at that time. They didn't come out. Wasswa can adduce evidence to this fact. I remember very well. In fact, at that time, I expected the Major General Kaihura to resign because the police had not come out, yet the threats were very, very vivid. Mr. Wasswa will bring out the evidence if actually they did. So somehow they have blame somewhere. The other thing, Edmond, is that if we want to prevent terrorism from occurring again, because we are very vulnerable, you can see in the park, you can see the weddings, you can see the last funerals, and so on and so forth.
Right.
We can look at LC1 villages. Can we have police intelligence surveillance teams stationed? Because if you remember that tragedy, the people who mastermind who did it rented a house in Makindye.
Yes.
They could not be detected at that time. Yet if there was surveillance at that unit, the level of the village, they would have been detected. So I call upon the police to go ahead and reinforce it.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much indeed. Spectrum, hello?
Hello.
Yes, your name?
Morning. This is Naboth.
Naboth?
Yeah, calling from Kampala. Mine, I would like to go to Honorable Kyanjo. Honorable Kyanjo, I'm just urging you together with the opposition. There is a time the IGP, you commented where he said, please don't make that gathering. We have intelligence information. There is an attack. And most of you never took it serious. I'm just calling you. You know, terrorists, you don't discriminate. So if the IGP another time comes and says, I have this intelligence information, please take it serious. Then secondly, you said Uganda, we don't have the capacity to justify terrorists. These are Sabas and things. But for sure, things regarding issues concerning terrorism, it is a global problem.
Okay. I think we've got a guest. Let's get back to the studio. Mr. Wasswa, can you respond to some of this? LC should be involved. You could have avoided these high wall fences that some of them rented houses in. You could have avoided it by working with the LCs, ask questions about these tall men walking in and out of compounds without mixing with the locals in the neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you, Nicholas. Yes, some of you have raised very important issues. Well, I start with that one now, Paul. Actually, as we have already said, that it needs to be a collective effort. The problem we have is that, first of all, we Ugandans, I think it is everywhere, we tend to, once there is a threat and we move around, the police moves around, the people tend to be in high gear. But as time goes on without anything happening, we tend to, to relax. That is in the human brain, everybody, including the police itself, you find today the police is very active, but as time goes on. So continuous sensitization and encouragement of these officers to be alert and the people to be aware is very, very necessary. Now, the locals, the people, as the Hon said, it is everybody's responsibility to fight terrorism. Now, the police cannot be everywhere, but the LCs, there used to be a system in the early days of the movement. Really, even if I got a visit at my place, I had to go to the LCs.
Tell the LCs.
Yes. Even if a neighbor would come,
or if you move to an area, you have to
exactly report. I think it is because of what the NRA and M had come out of. They are very cautious of each other in the before they took over. So once someone could come within the location and it was not known, people could ask themselves. It used to happen, I remember very well. But this has died out. So
they should revive it.
We should revive it. So instances of someone coming and hiring houses, staying there alone, you don't know what he does, that kind of thing, should have raised, kind of.
Let's get this very clear. You want us to revive the LC system. You get a visa for 3 days, the LC1 chairman wants to know whether it's Muyenga, Kololo, or Nachivu.
That's right. And that is the beginning step. Once we know each other. I was told by a colleague, by a Tanzanian, in Tanzania, if you go there and sleep there 1-2 days, the following day the police will come on your door. But who passes on the information to the police? It is the local people. Someone talked of, I think it was, yes, Bernard talked of the awareness. No, I didn't say that there was no awareness at all, but I was like, once you could go out to teach people about terrorism, they could look at it as something which is, important. Something which wasn't very near.
Esoteric, too far away from them.
But I said that it just changed after this incident. But this doesn't happen here. Even the US was the case. After the attacks of the Irish whatever, it was the case. So, it is true. We need to sensitize people who check. The sensitization level may be still low. We are doing our best and we shall continue doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honorable Kyanjo.
Well, I think I must start by putting this point clear that for every loophole that there is within the security system in Uganda, one area where they have perfectly performed is the area of civic awareness. They have tried their best, and I have heard them announcing early in advance whether there was an event, trying to warn people of what could happen. It is not very easy, like Paul was wondering, to describe a bomb.
Yes.
Because a bomb is not an item on a supermarket.
Somebody was using it to hit a bell in the village.
Yeah.
And it could have exploded and caused a lot of havoc. That was a remarkable thing.
That's it. So
they just don't know what it looks like.
A bomb is difficult to describe. And two, a bomb could have two elements.
But you could sensitize people. That level of ignorance, where someone uses a bomb to hit a bell in the compound, that's a bad thing.
Well, that could be within the broader effort of civic awareness. But to describe a bomb is difficult. Right. Because, for example, one of the best bombs would be the telephone. So what have you what do you have to say? Yeah. Some of the bombs are as small as a pen. So it is an innocent pen. Somebody is having his pen, probably is labeled the Parliament of Uganda. Right. What do you have to say?
Becomes a bomb.
So he himself is a bomb. So I think that could be difficult. Okay. But we must follow on the line of the police so that what they say when they are sensitizing the public is what they do when they go for operations. And when my colleague says that we should actually pay attention to warnings by the police, indeed we do, but we only get embarrassed and disappointed sometimes when we discover that actually some of the police officers are hiding behind this description simply to deny some of the politicians space to air their views. And I think this nonsense, it should be discouraged.
Really want to avoid getting in there. We have to end here incidentally. Some of the questions that were not answered include the mass first aid centers that the first poll mentioned. Maybe those are issues that you'll think about in the police force. But I must thank you, our dear guest, Hon Hussein Kyanjo, Shadow Minister for Internal Affairs and Human Rights, also Member of Parliament for Makindye West. Thank you for coming to Spectrum tonight. Assistant Superintendent of Police David Wasswa, Acting Commissioner Electronic Countermeasures in the Directorate of Police Counter Terrorism. Thank you for coming to Spectrum, sir. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond Stop. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Right now is the news in English. Just stay tuned.
Let's talk about the home of your dreams and how you plan to finance it.